Welcome to day 13 of these practices. So, yesterday you had a new moon flow, which was actually filmed back in May 2020. And the reason for that was it was the first new moon of the year last night. So, I wanted you to connect to that in your practice. And also, I was feeling a little bit floppy. So, the nice thing about a kind of live January Yoga Bites thing is each of the practices are created or planned from a day-to-day basis. So whatever you see today was planned yesterday. Even if it was pre-recorded, it was still planned yesterday. I think later this year we'll do another 30-day kind of similar thing, but I'll do them in advance and we'll see if there's a difference in the feel to it and which one feels better. Start today and find a comfortable position sitting on your mat, maybe on a cushion or a block or a folded blanket. Sometimes just a little bit of lifting of the hips adds to comfort and a good seating position. And tune into how you feel. Scan your body, noticing areas of tension, areas that need a little bit more care or attention. Notice your breath. Notice if it's rapid or slow, shallow or deep. Just tune in to how you are and how you feel today. We're going to take some ocean breath with sunshine arms. So you might remember our ocean breath is Ujjayi breath, where there's a slight bit of constriction at the back of the throat. The mouth is still closed, but it makes a slight noise and it just gives you a little bit more control. But when you get to the end of the inhale and the end of the exhale, we're adding in a tiny extended pause. There's already a pause there. We're just going to pause a little bit more. So start taking your hands down to the mat, turn up the palms. Inhale, sweeping the arms up with your Ujjayi breath. Pause with the hands apart as though you were holding the sun. Hands together and exhale as you bring your hands down through heart center. Pause, taking the hands back out, and do that again. Inhale. And again. And one more time, last one. And just let your breath return to its natural rhythm and notice how you feel. From here, we're going to take some shoulder rolls to start with because we need those warmed up for one of the poses later on. So both shoulders up, round and back, just a few times. And notice the sensation as your shoulders move and the scapula, the shoulder blades, shift up and around and back and slide down the center of your back, or as though down the center. Change direction. Pause. Let's take some inhales with the arms and then turning to the right and then the left. So inhale and exhale and right and exhale, center and exhale and left and release, and one more center, but stay there. So let your breath return to its natural rhythm, but as you inhale, extend through the fingers, lengthen through the spine, and as you exhale, soften. Inhale and lengthen, exhale and soften. One more. Inhale and lengthen, exhale and release. Take the right hand out to the side of the mat and just move the head so the neck is stretching over a little to the left. You may feel an increase in sensation down the right side of the neck and the right shoulder. And then as you inhale, just lift the chin a little. Be very gentle with yourself. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. One more. Inhale and lift. Exhale and release. Pause. Notice any sensations and swap sides. Left hand out and take the head over a little to the right. Notice that increase in sensation. Inhale and lift the chin. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. One more. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. And release. Just take some intuitive movements like it's a seated shimmy and shake. Notice the release in tension through the fascia as you do that. Again, it's like being shaken out if you're all creased up. Okay, so we're going to take some circles, hands on the knees, and just circle round at the hips. And as you move forward, lift a little through the chest. And as you move back, round a little through the spine. Forwards and back, and a click. Change direction. Lifting, curving round. Lifting and rounding. Last one. Pause. Notice. We'll have some seated cat-cow, so just coming forward and back. So inhale and lift through the chest, arching the back. Exhale, round and fold, chin to chest. Inhale and lift. Exhale and round. Inhale and lift. Exhale and round. Two more. Inhale and lift. Exhale and round. And come back to the center. We just take some side stretches. So right hand down to the mat. Sweep that left arm up and over. Up and back. Opposite side, up and over. Up and back. Twice more each side. Just moving slowly as though you're taking your hand through water and paying attention to how your body responds. Particularly notice any expanding through the sides of the ribs. And last one. And release. Just pause and notice how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice your body. And let's come to 4-point kneeling pose, tabletop. So in our 4-point kneeling pose, we're going to inhale forward, exhale, round and down to child's pose. Inhale up and forwards, exhale, round to child's pose. One more, inhale forwards, exhale, round and back to your child's pose. Maybe take a wide-legged child's pose here, simply sinking your chest to the mat, even dropping the forehead onto the hands. And breathe. Then as you're ready, come back up to tabletop. Just move my bolster out of the way a little bit. I'm going to thread the needle. We've done this before. We'll start with the right hand. So inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, thread through, shoulder down to the mat. Sit bones still heading to the sky. Inhale and reach. Exhale and lower. Inhale and reach and stay this time. Exhale and lower. And breathe. Just another breath or two. And push back up to tabletop. Have a little wiggle side to side. And we'll take that to the opposite side. Opposite hand up to the sky. Thread it through, shoulder to the mat. Inhale up. Exhale, thread. Inhale up. And this time stay down. The sit bone's still heading to the sky. Hand on the mat, pushing the mat away. Feeling that sensation of twist. And breathe. And release back to tabletop. I'm just going to move backwards slightly. And we're going to take a puppy pose here. So again, we've done this before. Walking the hands forwards, keeping the knees under the hips and the sit bones heading up. But we're going to sink our chest down to the mat, dropping the forehead to the mat. Try and keep your elbows off the mat, but it's okay if it's better for you to have your forearms just loose. And breathe. Maybe now dropping your elbows and taking your hands behind the head in Anjali Mudra. That's when the palms are together in a kind of prayer position. Then release the hands to the mat, push back up all the way through to your child's pose. Okay, come back up to tabletop. From your tabletop, take your hands one forward, pushing into the fingertips, turning the arms so that the elbow inner crease is kind of pointing to the short edge of the mat. Tuck the toes under, hover the knees, send the sit bones back and up, coming into your downward facing dog. Pedal the feet a little here, stretching through the hamstrings, and find a stationary dog. So from here, we're going to take a three-legged dog. So we'll start with the left foot going up, trying to point the toes to the mat. And we're going to step that left foot through. So to do that, you can just slowly step it or encourage it and help it, walk it, that's fine. Or to help you lift it, lift through the body as you move the foot forward. Drop that back knee on the right leg. You can release the foot if you wish and rise up into your low lunge. And breathe, sinking the hips as low as you can, checking that your knee is above the ankle and not dropping in or out, and taking the hands back up and turning the pinky fingers in a little. Take the hands behind the back, interlace and lift through the chest, bringing a gentle back bend to your lunge. Then release the hands, take them to heart center, and we'll take a little twist. So right elbow to left knee, turning the body into the twist. And release back to your low lunge. Release the hands to the mat. Release that foot back to join the right foot and come into a plank. Now in your plank, you're pushing the mat away and we're going to drop the knees into a half plank and do a kind of half chaturanga. I am going to show you a full chaturanga or my attempt at a full chaturanga next time round in this practice today. Shift forwards, keep the elbows tucked in, be strong through the body and lower to the mat. Keep the hands under the shoulders and rise up into a cobra for another back bend. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift and push back all the way through to your child's pose. Maybe take a wide-legged child's pose here and sink into the mat and breathe. Maybe take your hands under your forehead. Notice your breath. Notice your body. Then Come back, knees back to hip width apart, come back to tabletop. Hands a little in front, making sure the elbows are turned. You're pushing through your fingertips and your knuckles. Tuck the toes, hover the knees. Sit bones back and up, back to your downward facing dog. And breathe. Right foot this time to three-legged dog. Lift it through, arching the body, helping it if you need. Drop that back knee, untuck the toes if you wish, and rise up again. Low lunge, sinking the hips. Take the hands behind, lift through the chest, adding a gentle back bend. Hands to heart center, this time left elbow to right knee. For your twist. Release. Hands up. Release to the mat. Let that right foot go back to join the left, coming into your plank. Your choice, stay in full plank or drop the knees to half plank. And either way, then shift forwards, keep the elbows tucked in. This is your chaturanga, lowering down through chaturanga. We'll have a sphinx this time, so elbows under the shoulders, hands parallel, arms parallel. Lift through the chest. Inhale and lift. Exhale and soften. Inhale and lift. Exhale and soften. Hands under the shoulders. Push all the way back once again to your child's pose. Come back up to tabletop. From your tabletop, hands a little in front. Tuck the toes, sit bones back and up. Back to downward facing dog. Then walk your toes to your hands or your hands to your toes. Feet hip width apart. Generously bend the knees. Arms out, flat spine, and rise up into Utkatasana, chair pose. And release. Just turn to the front of the mat, the long edge, and pause and notice how you feel. Have a little swing side to side, letting any tension be released. And come to rest again. Okay, from here we're going to take a warrior 1, warrior 3 flow. So we'll start by turning to the left short edge of the mat. Left foot forward, right foot back, hips pointing to that short edge. Inhale, lift as you bend that front knee, coming into your warrior 1. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. One more. Strong back leg. Inhale, lift and stay. Check where your feet are. Check that that knee is kind of above the ankle and not going forward and over it. Lifting a little through the chest, but not arching at this point. Pinky fingers turned in. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and soften. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and soften. One more. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and soften. Release the arms. Leave the legs as they are. Take the hands behind, interlace. Lift through the chest, that back bend. And humble your warrior 1. Taking the arms as high as you wish. And breathe. Release the arms, rise back up to warrior 1. And release. Still facing that short edge, we're going to come into a warrior 3, but take it slightly differently this time. So shifting the weight first into that left foot. Hands to heart center or out overhead. Take that right knee forwards and then extend it back, hinging at the hips, reaching the right leg back and out, coming into your warrior 3. Hands can stay at heart center if you prefer. And breathe. Then step back, rising up into warrior 1 again. And release. Let's take that to the other side. So start setting up for warrior 1. Right foot heading to the short edge. Left foot, toes kind of pointing to that top corner or 45 degrees, whichever feels right for you. Hips to the short edge. Inhale and lift, bending that right leg. Check where it is. Exhale, release. Inhale and lift. Exhale, release. This time stay. Strong back leg. Inhale, lift the arms, bend that knee, coming into your Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Pinkies turned in. Lengthen as you inhale, soften as you exhale. Lengthen, soften, lengthen and soften. Release the hands, interlace the fingers, lift through the chest and humble your warrior. Hands can stay low or you can take them high. And breathe. Then release. Back, warrior 1. Step back to the center of the mat. Let's set up for warrior 3. So shift the weight into that right foot first. Hands can be at heart center or up. I'll just move back slightly. Take that left leg in front and then extend it back as you hinge at the hips, coming into, I need to be further forward, coming into your warrior 3. Hands can be at heart center. And breathe. And it's okay to wobble. And step back. Warrior 1. And release. Have a little shimmy. Have a little shake. Okay, we're going to have a tree moving to a standing pigeon. So, shift the weight into the right foot. Externally rotate the left. Find your tree. Just remember the knee needs to be protected, so don't put your foot on your knee. It can be at the ankle, the lower leg, or the upper leg. Find the best position for you. Maybe grow your branches. Maybe back to heart center. And then we're going to move to a standing pigeon. Release the hands. Release the leg and cross it across your right leg. Hands to heart center and bend that standing knee. Find your drishti and release. Go back to your tree, if that's right for you today. And be strong. And release. Oh, pause and notice such different sensations on each side of the body following that. Let's try it on the other side. So shift the weight into the left foot. Turn the right, find your tree. Find your leg position first. Have a drishti. Maybe grow your branches. Hands back, release. Release the leg. Take the leg across the left knee. Thigh is open, foot is flexed. Hands to heart center. Bend the standing leg and breathe. Release. Come back to your tree, if that's right for you today. And release. A bit wobbly, and that's okay. Pause and notice. I'm going to take a wide-legged forward fold just to get some release of the tension in the back. So feet are parallel. Soft knees, hinge at the hips, coming down to the mat or onto a block, whichever feels right to you today. And bend and stretch side to side. Letting your head hang. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. And in your wide-legged forward fold, take the hands behind if you wish, interlace the fingers and lift the arms. and release, and come down to kneeling on the mat. We are going to take a camel. Now, we did this in a recent short recording in an advent calendar video, but you may not have done camel, and there are different options. 2 blocks would be good, one either side. So, for your camel, tuck the toes, have the blocks on the highest point to start with. Now, when we come into camel, we're going to push forward through the hips. So the direction of the hips is towards the short edge, and lift through the chest. So you have a gentle back bend, which is why we've been doing that through the practice today. So we'll start by taking some movements with each arm first, one at a time. So with your right arm, sweep it up and back and tap your block. And return. And again, up and back and tap your block, ensuring that the hips are still going forward and you're lifting through the chest. And return. This time, either stay to tap the block or take your hand to the heel. So up and back and tap the heel or the block, lifting through the chest, forwards with the hips, up, return. One more. Up and back, block or heel, and release. Swap sides, left arm, up and over and block, up and release. Again, up and over, hips are forward, lift through the chest, tap the block, release. Careful with your neck, you're not straining your neck. This time the left hand is going to the left heel, up and over, tap the heel or stick to the block if that's better for you. Release. One more. Up and back and heel and release. Either stick to one-sided or join me with both hands. So up and back to the block, lifting through the chest, forward with the hips, up and release. If you want to go for the heels, this is the time to do it. Up and back to your heels, lift through the chest, hips forward, gaze up, and release. Oh, and come down to your child's pose. Have a little shake side to side, a sway and a move. And we'll come down to lying on the mat. Now, if you have a bolster or a pillow or a cushion, this is the time to use it because we're going to do a supported twist. So come down to lying. First of all, roll down to the mat. Take your knees to your chest and just rock a little side to side. Then stretch out the right leg. Have your bolster or cushion next to you, but with about a gap, about a full hand span. Take your left foot to your right knee, your right hand to your left knee, and encourage that knee over onto your bolster or cushion. Sweep that left hand out and back, allowing your shoulders to sink to the floor, and stretch out both arms, taking your gaze over to the left hand. And sink into your twist. Breathe and soften. Sweep the hand back across. Come back to center. Knees to your chest, and again just rock a little side to side. And then swap your bolster or cushion to the opposite side. Again, leave a gap so that there's about a hand span between you and the bolster. Stretch out the left leg, right foot to left knee, left hand to right knee. Encourage that knee over to drop onto the bolster and sweep that right hand open and allow your shoulders to sink to the mat. Stretch out the arms and take your gaze to that right hand and sink into your twist. And breathe. Bring the hand back, come back to center, and take your bolster and just roll it so that it falls under your knees. You can bring a blanket across you and just settle down onto your mat. Soften or close your eyes. Bring your attention back to your breath, your body. Either stay where you are or gently push yourself up to a seated position as we started at the beginning. Notice how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice your body. And enjoy your day. See you soon.